great. I'm a baller. Okay. Give you a sense of how much of a baller I am. A second window in my car fell out today. The windows just, boom, they fall into the door, and I don't know how to get them out. I'm a baller. All right, listen, great show for you today, okay? Now, the crazy Florida shooters in the second hour, that has 18 different twists and turns, V for Vendetta, okay? And Fox News, we have more insider memos that are devastating, all right? And there's a lot of legislation getting batted around back and forth. The House passes some things, the Senate passes some things. I'm going to get to the House and the Senate in a second. Obviously, the tax cut one is the biggest. That's the one everybody's talking about. There was a vote on it. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. But there's a twist in that story. I mean, today we have the usual, like, rip your hair out with frustration with Obama moments. And I'll give you the quotes. I'll give you the evidence, right? But we also have an interesting twist that might be positive. But it's led by the Republicans. Oh, twist on top of twist. What's happening today? Okay. All right. But we start with the House. Don't ask, don't tell has been repealed in the House. DADT. Not for the win, really. That would be for the loss, I suppose. Yes. Now, it was a standalone bill. Just passed the House. It did not pass the Senate yet, of course. The Senate is the major issue here. The president's in favor of repealing it. Earlier, they had put it in a defense authorization bill. Now, the fact that it's standing alone, you know, that cuts two different ways. If you care about just voting on that issue, well, okay, you liked it as a standalone bill, and that's probably fair, right? If you wanted to play hardball politics, you put it in the defense authorization, as they did originally, and then you tell the Republicans, oh, you voted against this, and you vote against the troops. That's what the Republicans would have done. It's a guarantee, right? It's not a guarantee. It's already happened. Every time they wanted something controversial, they throw it in the defense authorization bill, and they say, oh, if you vote against it, you hate the troops, you hate America, that's how you libs are. Now, of course, the Democrats did that initially and then got scared. Oh, no, but they voted against it. What can we do? So they pulled it out, and now it's a standalone bill. But look, it might pass anyway, and I've told you this 100 times. This is a thing that I don't know if it's going to take 2 days, 2 months, or 2 years, but we're going to win on this. They're on the wrong side of history. They're going to get steamrolled eventually, right? I hope it's 2 days rather than 2 years, and I believe that it literally affects our military readiness. But that's not just a belief, that's a fact, because we're firing people who are linguists, we're firing people who could be fighting for us and helping to either protect the country or go into senseless wars. Okay, but, I mean, I don't want them to go there, but they're needed to help their fellow soldiers, etc., right? So now, they say that the standalone version in the Senate might get 60 votes anyway. Lieberman is actually, are you ready for this? On the right side of this issue. Well, miracles never cease. He's the one that introduced the bill in the Senate and keeps saying to everybody, oh, I got 60 votes. So maybe he's right. Of course, there's always a twist. So the disappointing twist this time around is that it might never come up for a vote, even though it could get 60 votes. There's always a way to lose, right? When you're the Democrats, you find inventive ways to lose. Why? Now the Republicans are saying, among other things, oh, Christmas is around the corner. I gotta go home for Christmas, man. I can't be voting on your nonsense gay bills. Now, they say that about the START Treaty. They're saying it about everything they don't want to vote on. What's the one thing they do want to vote on? Of course, tax cuts for the rich. Now, that leads us back to the Senate, where today, tax cuts for the rich passed. Oh, that's right, we're not rich. Okay, so 81 to 19. The earlier vote was to get beyond the filibuster. God bless Bernie Sanders' heart. He tried with a filibuster. And you know when the Republicans do a filibuster, it's a wall. You run into that wall, right? They will hold every one of their guys, 41 guys, absolutely. When the Democrats try to filibuster, now Sanders is an independent, but he caucuses with the Democrats. When they try, swang, wang, wang, Debbie Schlusel. They only muster up 15 for the filibuster, and now ultimately the bill passes just the Senate, not the House yet, 81 to 19. So that leads us to the drama in the House. And here's where it gets interesting. First of all, Democrats in the House are insisting on two different things. Now, I'm not sure if, in the final version it'll be and or. If it'll be one of these things, the Democrats, it could be neither of these things, right? Or if it'll be both of these things. Now, the two requests, I think, are enormously reasonable, but we'll see if it works. So what are they? One is they're saying, look, if you're going to extend the tax cuts for the rich for 2 years, well, in this deal, you've only extended unemployment for 13 months. Why don't we also extend the unemployment benefits for 2 years? That's only the most reasonable request anyone has ever made. Of course, when they run that by the Republican senators, like John Collins, they say, oh, you better not change a word in this. Oh, we're barely hanging in there by a thread. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll walk away from this thing if you try to give the unemployed half the break we gave to the rich. Oh, hell no. Point number two. They say, hey, you know what? The estate tax, instead of it being this gargantuan $5 million exemption, which, by the way, I don't know why we keep calling it $5 million. It's for both the husband and the wife, so it's actually $10 million, okay? The Democrats are saying instead of $5 million apiece, it should be $3.5 million apiece, so $7 million overall. So the first $7 million in the estate does not get taxed a red penny, okay? Nothing, not a dime, okay? And then above that, the Republicans won 35% from Obama. The House Democrats are saying, look, instead of having it go back up to 55%, let's meet in the middle and go to 45%. That at least begins to resemble an actual compromise, right? You go back to the senators in the on the Republican side, oh, you better not touch a word in this thing. I'll tell you, we'll walk, I tell you. Now, the reality is, you go to ask Orrin Hatch about the estate tax, and this is an awesome quote. Now, Orrin Hatch, of course, one of the most conservative senators. He's from Utah, Republican. And when they asked him about the estate tax, he said, quote, we had the president, George W. Bush. We couldn't get it done then, and we're getting it done here. Oh, bam! He's saying, look, this estate tax deal for the rich is so good, we couldn't get it under Bush. We got this Obama president, to give us a deal we couldn't have imagined, even under Bush. We're talking about, oh, no, we won't compromise a word of this. Yeah, of course they say that because they think these sucker Democrats will go for anything, right? If we tell the Democrats in the House, boo, they're like, oh, my God, I have to support the president. The president calls himself a Democrat. I'm a Democrat. Okay, I support him. Right? No, hell no. They'll bend on the estate tax. Come on, man, if you fought on this and said, all right, here's our version. It's 45% instead of 35%. Now, are you going to hold up all the other tax cuts for the rich? You're going to hold up the unemployment. You're going to hold up all these other things that people want in this bill so that your trust fund babies like Paris Hilton can get another 10%. Really? Hey, look, maybe the Republicans will do it. But then they would be incredibly stupid, and that would be to your advantage. You'll get a better deal. But of course, look, I don't know. Maybe the House Democrats will do it. I know Obama won't do it. And I know if the House Democrats stand up to Obama, he will join with the Washington media and the Republicans saying, oh, I can't believe how radical they are and liberals and terrible and partisan, right? But who cares what Obama does? Obama ain't my uncle. And if you're a House Democrat, he shouldn't be your uncle, okay? So just get beyond it, right? So, okay, he wants to deal with the Republicans. I don't. You don't. Why should you vote for him? Look at what the Republicans are saying. We couldn't have gotten this deal under Bush. And look, I said this yesterday on the show. Think about this. If John McCain was president and he said, oh, I'm going to do the same exact deal, massive tax cuts for the rich, whether it's the estate tax or the income tax. Now, can I get 59 senators in the Democratic caucus to vote on my side? Can I get, an overwhelming majority in the House right now for the Democrats to vote on my side? No way John McCain could have gotten that. No way. Maybe he would have wanted more, but he couldn't have gotten it done. Instead, you got a Democratic president giving tax cuts for the rich that the Republican presidents couldn't dream of. Look, this is the Bush tax cuts on steroids. Because like Hatch said, they couldn't even get the estate tax part. And there's no way McCain could have passed it through the Democrats in the House. So why is a Democratic president getting a free pass on it? He shouldn't. If you're a real Democrat, if you're a real progressive in the House, you should fight Obama just like you would have fought McCain if he was president, and just like you fought Bush back in the day. Now, look, they lost a lot of battles to Bush, but even this one that has now sailed through the Senate, 81-19, you know what it was? It passed by one vote under Bush in the Senate. Does it give you a sense of how much the country has shifted to the right? That the tax cuts that were actually smaller, barely passed through reconciliation under Bush. And a short 7 to 9 years later, there was 2 different packages. It gets 81 votes in the Senate. Fight him, man. Fight him, fight him, fight him. Fight him. Kill the bill. Kill the bill. Okay, now, if you want frenemies on that one, it turns out, hey, guess what? Some of the Tea Party people are riding to the rescue. What? Get a load of this. They think that some of the tax cuts in this, what they're calling the Obama compromise bill on these tax cut issue that we're discussing now, they think that it's really spending, right? So when they talk about, of course, what do they hate? They don't hate the tax cuts for the rich. They love those, right? Because they're suckers. But they say, oh no, the ones on, solar energy and wind energy. Oh, clean energy. We hate that. No, no, no. The oil companies paid us to say that we hate. What? I thought we were populist. Anyway, yeah, we hate that, right? And they hate the ethanol subsidy, which I actually agree with them on, right? So they're saying, nope, not good enough. We want more tax cuts for the rich, and we don't want any clean energy tax cuts at all, or subsidies, nothing, right? So they have now rallied to oppose this Obama-McConnell compromise, okay? Here are some of the people against it. Mitt Romney wrote an editorial saying he's against it. Then Mike Pence, who's one of the most conservative guys in the House, said he's voting against it, and he's rallying other Tea Party people to vote against it. Then Sarah Palin came out and said she's against it. And then the most important one, the titular head of the Republican Party, Rush Limbaugh, said he's against it. Uh-oh, we got a ball game. Because there's no way that Barack Obama or Washington, D.C. is going to listen to liberals in the House. Inconceivable. But if Rush Limbaugh's against it and Sarah Palin's, ooh, now we got a war. Let's have fun. Hey, listen, some people on the Democratic side will say, oh, no. You can't get into bed with people like Rush Limbaugh and Mike Pence and vote the same way. I don't give a damn how Mike Pence votes. I don't give a damn what Rush Limbaugh thinks. If they are accidentally on the right side, which is our side, which is no tax cuts for the rich because they want more tax cuts, I don't care. Yeah, be stupid. Go ahead, right? We'll vote no. You vote no. Fantastic. Let's kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Hey, you know what we would have? We would have real bipartisanship. Progressive representatives, conservative representatives getting together to kill this deal that makes no sense for the American people. Fantastic. Hey, didn't Obama want to get past partisanship? Hey, mission accomplished. Okay, now is it real? Will they actually be able to muster up enough votes? And are the Republicans for real? Like, if it came down to it and the bill needed a couple of Republican votes to pass, would they really stick to their guns, or is this theater? Like, oh, no, we hate Obama. We're against everything he does. And push comes to shove, and those nearly $1 trillion tax cuts, most of which are going to the rich, are on the line. Are the real Republicans really going to vote no? I doubt it, but you never know, man. Shoot, let's rally it, okay? And that's the only hope we have, because there's no way Washington's ever going to listen to a Democrat. But if the Washington conventional wisdom and the establishment say, the Republicans and Rush Limbaugh are against it, okay, then we got a shot. God, how sad are we? God. We have a Democratic president right now, huge majority in the House, huge majority in the Senate. And the only hope we have is that Rush Limbaugh is accidentally on our side. How pathetic. All right, by the way, to just give you some quotes here, so you know I'm not making this up. Craig Shirley, Washington consultant for the Tea Party Patriots, says the sand is shifting under this very fast. If it doesn't get voted on soon, it could get voted down. Mark Meckler, founder and leader of the Tea Party Patriot Group, who crushed the Bears last week, said, we don't like the process that produced this. It was put together in secret and in the dead of night. Whatever your reasons, God bless. Sure, yeah. Oh, I can't believe the way they put it together. Sons of bitches. Come on, vote with me. Okay. Now, let me see what else I got for you. Okay. All right, we like this. All right, now Devastate. Because that was good news. Okay, now we come to the devastation. So, the president is meeting with the top 20 CEOs, and we told you about this a little earlier, and now we've got more details. And we showed you a Wall Street Journal article with plenty of quotes from the business leaders going, oh, this guy, he's learning. Yeah, he's coming our way. And some insiders at the administration saying the same thing, oh, we have to be more balanced in our approach. Well, today, more devastating quotes along the same lines. Obama's senior advisor, Valerie Jarrett, said that some companies are, quote, looking for some certainty in the regulatory environment. You know what that means? That means we promise we won't do any more regulation. Oh, you want to take wild risks on Wall Street? How about it, Hoss? I know we are going to give you regulatory certainty, meaning what we are certain to not regulate you. So you want us to pull the cops off of Wall Street? No problem, Mr. Robber. Go for it, right? So that's what's happening. Now, to give you a sense of how ecstatic the companies are over this, here's PepsiCo Chair and CEO Indra Nooyi. She said, the president himself, after the elections, has come out and said, perhaps I have not been as friendly to business as I should have been. And I think we're going to see a definitely different mood from the president. You better give us a different mood, dude, because we just spent a whole heap of money making sure that your boys lost. Okay? Heal. Now we go to the Business Roundtable chairman and CEO of Verizon Communications, Ivan Seidenberg, who was vociferously against the Democrats in this election. Here's his devastating quote. The president's shown a willingness to learn. Okay, and we go to Austin Goolsbee. He is the chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors. So here's another guy inside the administration to give you a sense of whether the business people know what they're talking about in terms of them thinking, Obama's going to play ball with us from now on. Here's what Goolsbee says. To the extent that criticism about regulation is there, how it can be made more streamlined, more efficient, operate better, he's totally open to discussing that, referring to the president. Meaning, oh, what do you need from us? You want us to get rid of the regulation? I mean, streamline it and make it more efficient? Oh, of course. Absolutely, sir. Thank you, sir. May we have another, sir? Absolutely, sir. So if you had dreams that... Because remember, look, after the election, we had the conversation. We're like, Obama could go in two different directions here. He can look after the election and say, okay, you know what? I reached out to the Wall Street guys. I mean, I put their boys in here, Larry Summers, Tim Geithner, Peter Orszag, etc. I gave them every break. I continued the bailouts. They're back to making record profits. In just about every way you can imagine. Record amount of cash, record amount of bonuses, record amount of profits, all in a time when the rest of the economy is suffering greatly. I did everything I could for them. And I did everything I could to reach out to Republicans. Hundreds of amendments in the health care bill, watered down the financial reform bill, and the tax cut deal, and the list goes on, right? And I still got beat down. Maybe that's a wrong strategy. Maybe I should fight back. That was option number one after the election. And I laid it out for you then. I said option number two is, he says, oh no, I didn't bow my head enough to corporate America and to the Republicans. Well, unfortunately, the jury's in. He will be going with option number two. He thinks he did not bow his head enough to corporate America, to Wall Street, and to the Republicans. And as you can see with the tax cut deal, he is in mid-bow. Okay, and now apparently they're going to pull back all the regulations behind the scenes, say, hey, don't worry about it, guys. We got your back. We're not going to bother you. You do anything you like. You take any kind of risk you like. If you want more free money from the Fed, our door is open, which is literally true. Okay, so have at it, Hoss. Disaster. You have your answer. Over the next 2 years, Obama is not going to be on your side. He's not going to fight for you. He's going to just do what these guys tell him to do. Let me give you one last piece of fact here from this Associated Press article that you could say is, oh, it's not a big deal, but it gives you a sense of perspective, right? So a lot of these guys that he's pulling in are actually old buddies of his. There's Penny Pritzker. Her name is Penny Pritzker. I think she's a Chicago socialite and business executive who's worth billions. Okay, so that's one of his buddies, and she's a big Democratic donor, and a lot of these guys are Democratic donors, and a lot of them are Republican donors, as we explained earlier, right? But Robert Wolf of UBS This is the part of the story where I went, oh yeah, of course. What were we thinking? He's a member of the President's Economic Recovery Advisory Board. Now, he's with UBS, a financial company. And he is, quote, an Obama golfing partner and a Democratic fundraiser. Now, here's the thing. I mean, we're so silly. You know, the question we always is he with the establishment? Look at his golfing partner. He's not golfing with a plumber from Chicago, from the south side of Chicago, or a dude in West. I know he's not going to. I know, right? I'm not unrealistic, right? He's not going to pull guys off the street to go golfing. But look at who he talks to. Like if I go to play golf, first of all, it'll be at most pitch and putt, probably mini golf. But if I do, I go with my friends, right? I go with people that, and we're like-minded, etc. He goes with his friends, and they're bankers, and they talk about, oh right, way too much regulation, right? This guy ain't gonna fight for us. All right, now, if you're not convinced, we'll do one more thing for you guys in this segment. Obama's talking to a local Colorado station in the White House, right? And they're gonna ask him about change, right? Did he bring the change to Washington? Now, I find this answer instructive in a lot of ways. In the beginning of the answer, it being the incredibly naive fool that I am, I begin to get encouraged. I don't know, I read all this stuff. Why do I fall for it every time? Anyway. But Daily Kos tells me that I'm radical and I should love Obama more, and that I should hold out more hope for him, and that I'm a secret Republican. Yeah. Okay, anyway, don't get me started on Daily Kos. Stop it, okay? So, Obama's talking to a local Colorado news station. They're going to ask him about change. I get excited in the beginning of the clip. I quickly lose my excitement. I think the critical part is at the end here. Let's watch.
To actually grow well in
Senator Michael Bennet, who I spoke with last week, a friend of yours, had said that he wanted me to ask you about, when you came to Colorado 2 years ago, you talked a lot about changing Washington. Right. He wants to know, you feel you've been successful, what do you feel you need to do next? Is there the sense out there that you've been successful?
No, I don't think there's a sense that I've been successful. I think people feel that Washington still is dysfunctional.
That's true.
Now, we've actually made some improvements, mainly in areas where I've got complete control. For example, how the White House operates. So we've opened it up. We put all kinds of information on the web that used to be secretive. People can figure out how their tax dollars are being spent. They can figure out who comes to visit the White House. We've banned lobbyists from operating in our administration the way they used to. So there are a bunch of things that we've done, but I think people still feel that overall Washington is about a lot of politics. It's a lot of special interests, big money, but that ordinary people's voices too often aren't represented. And so my hope is that we are going to be continuing to work towards rebuilding a sense of trust in government. And that's going to require some cooperation from Democrats and Republicans. I mean, part of what I think frustrates people is also just the constant partisanship and the constant looking at what's going to happen in the next election instead of trying to look out for the interests of the American people. And it's my responsibility as President of the United States to make sure that I'm rising above some of that and sending a message that we've got to do better than we're doing right now.
Mr. President.
So he starts with the change stuff. Hey, look, you know what? It seems that people don't think I brought enough change to Washington. Starts talking about lobbyists. Good. And then he concludes with, people think that we should get beyond the partisanship more. I'm trying to rise above it, meaning I am giving in to the Republicans and doing whatever they tell me to do. So, schwang, wang, wang. Haven't learned a damn thing. / maybe I do know it, but I actually don't give a damn because I gotta go golfing with my buddies on Wall Street. So, is that guy that you just saw right there, does he really get it? Does he get, oh my God, the change we mean is that all you sons of bitches are bought, okay? Okay, all the politicians are bought with lobbyist money, and you do the bidding of the rich and the powerful, and we get crushed in the meanwhile. Do you understand that? No, that guy doesn't understand that. I mean, maybe he does, and he's playing with you, and so maybe he is a brilliant politician, in which case he's a Republican and totally hoodwinked all of us, right? But the other his idea for change in Washington is to work with the Republicans more. Do any of you out there think that would be change in Washington? By the way, you know what? I'm on the warpath. I'm not going to stop. You think I'm going to stop? I'm not done by damn sight yet. All right, one more for you. Timmy Geithner. Uh-oh. So, they put together this package to help people with foreclosures. The Treasury has actually approved $7.6 billion in expenditures to help states prevent and clean up foreclosures. Fantastic. Now, they haven't spent very much of that because the Treasury doesn't actually care. Well, I'm going to prove it to you here, right? So what people are saying, advocates for the people who are actually getting foreclosed on, sometimes fraudulently so, when the bank doesn't even own the mortgage, they're saying, hey, these guys need legal aid, right? They don't need fancy lawyers, but they need legal aid because when they go to court against the bank, they don't know what the laws are. I mean, if you're going to help them prevent foreclosure, that would be step one, right? Senator Sherrod Brown from Ohio is saying that. All the experts in the field are saying that, right? And think about it logically. Look, I went to law school. I'm a lawyer, right? But if you put me in the middle of a court and said, all right, now we're doing a foreclosure case, I'd be like, I don't know anything about a foreclosure case. I wouldn't know the first thing about it. It's not my expertise, right? Obviously, you need legal aid. Geithner is saying, nope, no legal aid. We're not giving any money to you guys. But good luck with the banks when you go to court and you're just a regular schmo without a lawyer with you and they have an army of lawyers. Good luck with that, okay? All right, but if you think that's bad, it gets worse. So he has set up a fund of $231.5 million and given it to the banks so that they could help modify loans and prevent foreclosures. Come on, man. If you told it as a joke, no one would believe it. So you're giving it to the banks to hire more lawyers in the hopes that they will be kind to the people that they are foreclosing on and just modify the loans out of the goodness of their hearts. Are you effing kidding me? Look, I don't know if Tim Geithner's the dumbest guy on the planet, and he's like, well, I gave it to the banks. I thought they would help with the foreclosures. Or if he's like a really mean-spirited guy. I mean, I hope he's dumb. I really do. I hope he's dumb as a rock. Okay, because if he's not, the other explanation is much worse, where he thinks, these people are getting crushed. They got no legal help. Watch this joke I'm going to play on the poor people of America and the middle class that are getting their house foreclosed on. I'm going to play this joke where I give the money that's supposed to go to them, I give it to the bankers to crush them. Which was worse? I don't know. But that's the only two possible explanations here. You can't justify giving more money to the banks in the hopes that they're helping the people that they're foreclosing on without any regulation to make sure that that's true. These guys are not here to help you, man. You remember that old joke? I'm here from the government. I'm here to help you. Like, that ain't true, right? And unfortunately, these guys are the best example. Well, to be fair, maybe the second best example, because when we come back from the break, Republicans. Oh, if you thought the Democrats were selling out to Wall Street, another awesome example of how bought the entire Republican Party is. Come right back for that. All right, back on the Young Turks. We got a slew of great stories for you guys. A little later, Kobe Bryant and Barack Obama talk trash. And actually, Kobe stung him, man. I don't know if he stung Obama as much, but it was a great line.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love that line.
Yeah, I liked it too.
All right, we'll get to that in a little bit.
Just kidding.
She doesn't know. All right, go ahead.
All right, I want to start with a Washington Post reporter who wrote an article about how he got burglarized. All right, and it's a really fascinating article because when he got burglarized, his 15-year-old son was hit the hardest. His son lost his laptop, lost all of the cash that he saved in his room, several things, right? Mm-hmm. But after this thief stole everything, he somehow logged into the Washington Post reporter's son's Facebook page and posted a picture of himself showboating. So he was holding the cash money. He had a smirk on his face. And, the reporter, who, by the way, his name is Mark Fisher, showed the photo to the authorities and said, look, I have his photo. He's showboating. Let's go catch him. And the police admit, we don't do much when it comes to burglars. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Now, look, we're going to show you the picture in a second here, and I love it. But get a load of what the guy did. He didn't upload it on his own Facebook page. he just to show the kid off. And it's a kid. What do you? I mean, just to rub it in his face more, and just to be more brazen, he put it on the kid's Facebook page. Okay, so, and I love the way he's holding the money. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, he's holding the money, has like this devious little smirk on his face. But the thing that there it is.
Devious smirk. I don't know if I can see devious smirk. He doesn't look happy though. I feel like he should have been more happy about it.
He looks upset at the money.
No, but I like this because one, he's brazen, right? Two, that's a lot of moned he stole, man. Nicely job. And that's the dad's winter coat that he took right out of the box that was supposed to be like something he just got.
Yeah, it had just arrived at the home, right, of the reporter, and he opened the box, took the coat, and took it along with everything else.
You gotta hand it to the guy though. He's a little gangster.
No.
Look, he's got balls. You gotta give him that, right? But the reality, of course, is that especially in the big cities, we got numbers on it. People don't chase down the muggers, okay, or robbers in this case. I mean, he broke into a house, right?
Yep.
What is it? Across the country, 12% of robbers are caught. Okay.
Nationwide, police only solve 12% of all burglaries.
Burglaries.
In Washington, D.C. alone, there are at least 4,000 burglaries per year.
Right. And in Washington and in some of the other biggest cities like New York, that number is actually cut in half. So they only solve 6% of the burglaries. So will that encourage burglars? Of course. That's why they've got 4,000 burglaries. That's why the guy can break in and go, oh, what happened now? Cash money. Ha ha. Here's your Facebook page.
But I don't understand this whole defeatist personality by the cops. What's wrong with them? I understand if a burglar gets caught, usually the only thing that happens is they get probation. And for some reason, cops think that's enough reason to not pursue these burglars.
Here's another idea. They shouldn't get probation. They should be sent to jail.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay. I mean, somebody breaks into your house, goes through your shit. Can you imagine?
But hold on. We got to save room for all the people who do drugs
for
jail.
On the other hand, there's all those people who smoke pot in Washington who belong in prison, right? So now look, why is there this phenomenon? Why do the cops not care? Now, in this case, it's a reporter. He's writing in a national newspaper, right? So they come and they dust it for prints, but they're like, but don't hold out hope. I mean, they got the guy's prints, they got his picture, right? And why? It's all a matter of incentives. So the cops in Washington must not incentivize going to get burglars, and they must think, and look, to be fair to them, maybe they're short-staffed. I don't know what the situation is. But if I was living in Washington, D.C., and, you got a situation like this, I'd be like, hey, look, raise my taxes 1%, 2%, what do you need? But let's actually get cops who chase down criminals. Right? Because I don't want them breaking into my house and messing up my Facebook page. Okay. Come on, let's go get him. And by the way, this has happened to me in New York. A robber comes in, he lifted up my window by putting his hand and lifting it up. There's 5 fingerprints on it. Right? I called the cops. I wasn't a reporter, I was just a student at the time, right? They're like, yeah, no, we're not even going to send somebody out there. I'm like, I have all of his fingerprints. I've got his handprint. They're like, yeah. Tell me how my ass tastes.
Same thing happened when you got your car stolen, right?
Oh, yeah. They just because we got on their ass and at the time we're on the radio, they dusted for fingerprints. Later when I called them, I'm like, so how's it going? They're like, yeah, not so much. They didn't chase it down. Nobody chases anything down.
All right, I was burglarized twice, once in law school and once a few years ago. And both times the cops came and they dusted for fingerprints, made a huge mess with that fingerprint dust everywhere. And they basically told me, we're not going to do anything about it. We come so you can, you have a police report so you can file it for your insurance purposes. But we're not going to do anything about it. And they don't. And that's just the way it is. And one more point of reference, it's not a robbery, Jank. Robbery is when there is actually force involved or a threat of use of force. This is a burglary.
All right, thank you, Mr. Stephen S.O. Esquire, okay? And by the way, when the Washington Post reporter called the cops and asked him, hey, are you working on leads? This is what they told him.
Are you going to find these guys? Or, you got any promising leads or...
Leads? Yeah, sure. I'll just check with the boys down at the crime lab. They got 4 more detectives working on the case. They got us working in shifts. Leads.
It kills me every time, man. By the way, once or twice I got my identity stolen. I also made the mistake of going down to the police department. They're like, leads? They wouldn't even let me file the report. Like, dude, come on, save everybody the hassle. We're not going to find him. Okay, don't even file it. Okay, just go home. Clean up, go home.
You got it stolen twice?
Yeah. I got a very, important personality. People are always looking to steal it. My identity is, top notch, worth a lot of money on the streets. Okay. Anyway, by the way, if they investigate this at all, it's only because he writes for the Washington Post. If he didn't write for the Washington Post, already they're blowing him off, okay?
Right.
They wouldn't have come and dusted for prints. They wouldn't have done anything.
What's interesting about this is Facebook is helping him investigate it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the cops aren't helping, Facebook is helping, because Facebook has a way to track down the user, like where the user is. So...
So they at least shut down the kid's Facebook account and gave him control of it again, as opposed to the robber who's still having fun with it.
Right.
God, that's amazing, man. Look, I almost feared doing the story because now if you're sitting in Washington, D.C., you're like, well, I cannot get caught. Mm-hmm. I mean, if that guy isn't going to get caught, you cannot get caught.
Right.
Unless, a cop happens to be stumbling out of a donut shop and he trips over you. Right? So, I don't know. It's crazy. All right. Time
Magazine has named...
By the way, sorry, one more thing. I'm picturing like the Wall Street guys, like with all the money Tim Geithner and Hank Paulson gave them. And then they get onto our Facebook page and they're like, yeah, look at this. Ha ha, took your money. They get on the Tea Party Patriots page. They're like, your bailout money, bitches. And Tea Party guys are like, oh, yeah, that's terrible. Let's vote for that.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Yes.
All right. Time Magazine has named Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg as the Person of the Year for 2010. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What's interesting about this is...
That was a very enthusiastic way of delivering that story.
I think it's a no-brainer. Who else would be the Person of the Year? I mean, who? Who would it be?
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you, but first of all, can we do that with a little more pizzazz?
Okay.
Mark Zuckerberg has been named Person of the Year! Right.
That's a scary picture of him.
Oh, thank you. I was just about to say that. Man, he looks like he just came from Pandora.
It looks like he just had a midnight massage.
Or he's really freaked out about something. He's like, I started Facebook? I'm the Person of the Year? They're going to get our unobtainium? I don't know why I think he looks like the guys from Pandora. Anyway, so, okay, this is not controversial. There's only a couple of things that are interesting about it. One, it's a little late, Facebook's kind of been gigantic for a while.
It has been. However, they just recently hit the 550 million users.
Okay, all right, good.
No, but that's huge. That's more than half a billion people.
Yeah,
well. And here's another insane statistic: 1 out of 12 people in the world has a Facebook account.
I love the hamish. 1 out of 12 people in the world have Facebook accounts. All right, now I actually have a different candidate as to who should have won, and it is actually among the runner-ups. So the runner-ups were who do we have here? Hamid Karzai, okay, the Tea Party, which is fascinating. I hate it when it's not a real person and they just throw out things like, oh, the Tea Party. Julian Assange and the Chilean miners.
Right.
Okay, first, let me just dismiss a couple of them. I love the Chilean miners. They didn't do anything. They just got caught in a mine and they got rescued. To call them the Person of the Year is absurd.
They survived.
They survived. Okay, all right. I mean, God bless them, but... Okay, Tea Party is not a human being, but at least that was a big story. I can grant him that. Hamid Karzai, what did he do this year other than keep doing the same stupid things he's been doing for the last 8-9 years to absolutely no effect? And what did he do other than taking bribes and keep hoodwinking us into sending more money and troops into Afghanistan? Maybe that's an accomplishment. But look, the real Person of the Year, if you ask me, is Julian Assange.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a guy who is, actually... in my opinion, doing journalism, revealing the secrets of the government, which the so-called real media isn't doing at all. Here's a guy who's on the run, because he's really pissed off the government. People are coming after him. So he's, brave, doing the right thing, etc. I mean, and could have much more far-reaching consequences, not just for the government stuff, but he's also going to reveal soon some of the internal documents of the banks. That's fantastic. No, I give it to Assange over Zuckerberg. Mark, I'm so sorry. But luckily, I don't decide. Time decides. Okay. Can I ask you one last thing here on this?
Sure.
So we got 350 some odd million views on YouTube.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Among other things. When does Anna Kasparian become Time Person of the Year?
Oh, please, never.
Could you imagine, like Casper, the friendly host, Person of the Year?
That'd be amazing. You know what, though? I hope that in my lifetime I do something that's important enough to have some sort of title like that.
Yeah, or at least to make this list. They have a third list. They have the winner, the runner-ups, and people who mattered.
Right.
Why, thank you.
Betty White's on that list.
Betty White.
Oh, but who doesn't love Betty White?
I know, but the thing is, this is just a goofy popularity list.
Yeah.
Betty White didn't do anything important this year. She was in a couple of shows. She was a good sport. God bless her heart. She made a comeback. I love her. But she didn't matter. I mean, come on.
She matters. You're so wrong. She was an inspiration to me. I think that matters.
Okay. Hey, the Turkish Prime Minister on there, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. I don't know whether to be proud of that or to not be proud of that, since he's,
LeBron's on the list.
Mm-hmm. The Jersey Shorecast. Okay, yeah. Okay, people
Over.
who did not matter. All right, anyway, so that, you know what? That gives us more hope. Maybe Casper, I mean, not to say to compare you to the Jersey Shore guys, but if Betty White's on the list, these guys are on the list, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Okay, although I'll tell you one more thing on this. Casper was on Russia Today earlier this week, okay? And if you didn't catch it, you must have tweeted that out, right?
Yeah, I tweeted it.
Okay, Raw Story did a story on it today. It's awesome, etc., right? And I went there to do another clip today, and the people at Russia Today were like, oh, Anna was great. She was like, she got us pumped up, because Anna went after the mainstream media, right? And they're like, yeah.
Really?
Well, yeah, and one of them worked in the mainstream media before going to Russia Today, and he's like, oh, she was so right.
Aww.
Okay, so look at Casper. Hey, don't count her out, man. Next year, people who matter most. When Anna Kasparian took down the mainstream media. All right, I'm pumped up. Everybody calm down. Okay, 10-2. When we come back, are Fox News viewers more knowledgeable or less knowledgeable about the facts than other viewers of news? We don't know. We're going to report. You're going to decide.
We have a study with facts.
Come back.